Even episode 2 of The Mandalorian being so epic could not overshadow what we saw in episode 12 of The Bad Batch. I've said this previously, but it's kinda sad that the Bad Batch episodes are the best without the Bad Batch in them. This one did not include the Bad Batch at all. Well, one faction that has left a long time ago and now is coming back to the fold, it seems, because Crosshair just began to understand his brothers. He could not hold in his anger any longer, and the episode essentially ends with Crosshair being fed up with this new regime, with the Empire, and shooting his lieutenant with complete conviction. The episode was interesting in and of itself because we have come accustomed to, in the Bad Batch, getting introduced to great clones like Mayday this time around, and I knew, in the moment I saw him, I knew that he was going to die. I think the only clone we have not seen die was Captain Hauser. He was arrested back in season 1. Who knows if he is still alive, or will Crosshair maybe meet with Hauser now that they're both under arrest? Maybe both are being experimented on. It's pretty interesting, but the rest have all been killed, died off. This time around, the lieutenant did not kill Mayday himself, but he took part in it. Today we're going to talk about what was the final straw, because it wasn't just Mayday dying. Mayday did die. Crosshair was visibly shaken and angry, but he still could not go up against his Imperial lieutenant. It wasn't until this eagle, the shadow of the eagle, passed by him that he realized he needs to be free. In fact, he is free, and this is the theme of the video. I wanted to talk about why the lieutenant did not hesitate in berating Crosshair, calling him expendable. Not only him, but all the clones wherever they are, including dead Mayday right now, who is laying there with Crosshair visibly shaken. The lieutenant did not hesitate because the lieutenant thought that Crosshair did not have free will, similar to other clones. He has come accustomed to berating all the clones wherever they are, and they cannot go up against him. This is what you have to understand, that Imperials were taught right off the bat clones are not important anymore, and what's more, they have inhibitor chips on them that prohibit them rebelling or going up against their superiors. You could say that, hey, what about Captain Hauser? Well, as far as I know, only Captain Hauser and maybe Captain Wilco went up against the orders that were given by their superiors. But Captain Wilco wasn't about to shoot Rampart. He just refused to falsify his report, leading to his death. Cody, as angry as he was, he did not kill his superiors. He just left. He disappeared. Hauser was arrested without delay. The only clone that I know right now that has killed his superior outright is Crosshair. And that is because, ladies and gentlemen, the lieutenant that was berating Crosshair, in fact, did not know, I suspect, that Crosshair's inhibitor chip was removed. As much as the other clones refused direct orders from their subordinates, it did not go to this extent. Only Crosshair killed his superior. The lieutenant did get what he deserved, but he did not know that Crosshair is a free man, is not a slave to the inhibitor chip, is not a slave to the Empire. He is a soldier, he follows orders, but everybody has their limits. This is why I think that eagle passing by Crosshair was extremely important. When the episode starts, Crosshair immediately notices these native eagles that are flying around. They are free. Crosshair always has a scowl on his face, and at that moment it seemed like he understood that freedom the first time he saw them, but he still did not revere their dominance of the sky. This is perfect evolvement of character. In the beginning, Crosshair did not understand. In the end, when that eagle passed him by, this is when he got it. He needs to be free. He needs to unshackle himself from this undisciplined empire that does not see the clones as worthy. Even in the beginning of the episode, when the lieutenant is berating Mayday and his men, you can kind of feel the tension that even Crosshair had. Everybody was wondering where the Empire finds these vicious idiots, these arrogant, duplicitous psychopaths that would do anything to anybody to achieve their goals. The Empire surrounded themselves with people like this that tend to step on a lot of people in order to get power. The Emperor himself runs the Empire just like this, wanted to run it like this, similar to how the Sith Empire was back in the day. That's why Star Wars is a perfect visual into our own world. We know of similar factions, especially in the 40s, that had this brutal political environment. This favored not the competent ones, but the evil ones that would do anything to supersede somebody's power and crush them with their boot. The Empire saw the clones as nothing more than slaves. This is made abundantly clear in this episode. It is so clear that it goes to the extent of Crosshair, who has always been vigilant, who has always been loyal to the Empire, even when it went against the ideals of the Republic. He still supported Rampart, Tarkin, and anybody who the Empire threw at him, but this was the last straw. It was all building up for Crosshair. Him seeing the lieutenant say with disgust that they gave me more clones when they're leaving for the planet, then offending clones wherever he could, going so far as to risk their lives for stormtrooper gear, even though Mayday has requested gear for so long. Clones do not get gear, they are an expired product. The new gear comes for their new shiny toy, which is the Stormtrooper. And you can clearly see by the time Mayday and Crosshair make it back to the base, Stormtroopers have already landed and they are now occupying that base. Clones have nothing more to do there. In fact, clones have nothing more to do anywhere else. They are forcibly being put in retirement. This is the theme of the episode. Even though Crosshair implodes, the beginning of the episode is clones complaining that they are being put into retirement forcibly because they have been bred for war. They don't know how to retire. The lieutenant complaining that he is getting more clones to escort him to this planet. Then the clones did not do their job in retrieving their gear, in retrieving Stormtrooper gear, and when the lieutenant lets Mayday die, he does not stop there, because Crosshair asks him why didn't he save him. He could have had the chance. The lieutenant, instead of shutting up, he retorts with absolutely not. He will not save clones because they are expendable. In the end, concluding this video, I want to say that this is why the Empire essentially imploded in and of itself. This is what Luke understood and what Palpatine did not until his death. Palpatine had built an empire on a foundation of fear and extreme brutality that ensures the power wielded by said regime, that essentially ensures this regime is brittle. It's purely about cynical, insatiable hunger for power. From Palpatine downwards, even to this lieutenant, they crave position, power, authority, full of narcissists. As Luke said, your overconfidence is your weakness. In the end, this is how the Empire crumbles in on itself, and it serves as a historical lesson for our world as well. Every tyrannical government that has been run this way, sooner or later, will suffer the same fate. I may have went on a tangent. Maybe it's kind of personal, but thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble on. I really love that Crosshair has come back to the fold, and I can't wait for the Bad Batch. I assume that the guys will come in and save him, hopefully sooner. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.